The Netflix Biggest Loser documentary was terrible. There were so many things wrong with it, I don't even know where to start.
Jillian Michaels giving caffeine pills to contestants.
Are you trying to make me look like a loser?
And that is kind of insane to me because there was so much material to work with here, bad and good.
America, we're the fattest country in the world.
Don't you get it?
What is it going to take for you to make that change?
Drive past a drive-through.
Go for a walk.
But none of it means anything if you're gonna sit there and eat ice cream watching our show.
The Biggest Loser was just a TV show about weight loss, but it became so much more than that. This show was such a big deal that it would often start with contestants getting weighed in front of their entire towns. Like they would go out to a local gymnasium or something and their entire town would come out to watch them get weighed in.
I will do everything I can to make you proud. And I will make myself proud too.
Think about how strange that is. And it's little things like this that made me think that this new Netflix documentary Fit for TV was going to be a great time. There is so much interesting, toxic, fun, and like early 2000s cultural stuff wrapped up into the Biggest Loser topic. Yet Netflix's Fit for TV decided to focus on absolutely none of this and waste the entire 3 hours on nothing instead. I was so excited for this documentary, and you know what? That's my fault. That's on me. I should have known not to get my hopes up for a Netflix documentary, a company that is at this point basically just known for botching everything that it touches. So I wanted to talk about some of the stuff that pissed me off from this documentary, including the fact that one of the main people interviewed had admittedly never even watched the show.
I come to The Biggest Loser not from having watched it regularly, but from having been someone who was like a fat person when it was on.
Seriously, this person got almost as much, if not more, speaking time than the producers of the show, yet they had never even watched the show, if that tells you anything about the quality of this documentary. But before we get into it, a quick message from today's sponsor, Saily. Saily is your new travel buddy. This simple app completely changes the travel game. My last trip was several years ago now, and I went to Iceland with my friends. Super beautiful. But what wasn't beautiful was my data situation. You know how you usually have to physically change your SIM card in order to use your phone abroad? Well, I forgot to stop at the airport and buy a new physical SIM. I was driving towards my hotel. I had to literally do a U-turn back around to the airport and wasted 30 minutes of my precious trip time, waiting in line, running around just so that I could use my phone. If only I had known about the Saily eSIM app. If you've never heard of an eSIM, it's a digital SIM card that works without needing to put anything into your phone. No more swapping physical SIM cards, no more wasting your vacation time. Just download Saily, choose a data plan, and you're all set. You'll have internet wherever you go, without expensive fees, and the best part for me, you don't have to worry about losing your original SIM card. This December, I'm going on my first trip in years. I'm planning to visit several countries in Europe to experience the Christmas markets and hopefully see Krampus. And this time, I'll be using Saily. Instead of spending time scrambling for a SIM at the airport, I'll be scrambling for a croissant instead. Just download Saily once, buy a plan, and install the eSIM. Then once you land, it will be activated instantly. Get an exclusive 15% discount on Saily data plans. Use code Docherty at checkout. Download the Saily app or go to saily.com/Docherty. Their eSIM plans are compatible for all iOS and Android smartphones, supporting eSIM technology. Save time, save money, and make the most of your next trip with Saily. Download Saily today. Get an exclusive 15% discount on Saily data plans. Use code Docherty at checkout. Download the Saily app or go to saily.com/Docherty. Thanks so much to Saily for sponsoring today's video.
5,
4, 3,
I mean it.
2,
1.
Okay, to kick this off, I feel like I have to tell you guys my bias. I am a fan of The Biggest Loser. I know, get your hate comments out now, but you have to hear me out, okay? The year was 2022. I was sitting on an airplane reading my book when I looked to my right and my boyfriend's watching something on his phone with a tear in his eye. I'm like, what could it be? And he shows me, and it's The Biggest Loser. Now, I remembered Biggest Loser. I remembered watching it as a kid. I remembered contestants being basically tortured through exercise. I remembered a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming. And I remembered Jillian Michaels as the demon ringleader of the entire thing. So I didn't think that I would be into it.
Neil, this close to one of these.
And that is definitely the stance of this documentary. The stance of the documentary can be summed up in these few clips from the preview.
being seen as a person and not just a body is much rarer for fat people.
People like making fun of fat people.
I was given a caffeine pill.
I think there's a bit of PTSD, and producers love that.
So yeah, Fit for TV's main idea is Biggest Loser toxic. There are a lot of things I do agree with about that, particularly the whole concept of a weight loss game show. You can't have a weight loss competition and have it be healthy. And I 100% agree with this point. But one thing that the documentary did a terrible job of was demonstrating why so many people were drawn to this toxic premise to begin with. Because the show was a huge deal and there was a reason for it. And I can tell you why I liked it so much. It all started with a man named O'Neal Hampton, age 50 of Minnesota.
My name is O'Neal. I'm 51 years old. I'm here with my daughter, Sunshine. I am totally embarrassed of my size. I want to be the man that my wife was attracted to 31 years ago. I'm almost 3 times the size I was back then.
The Biggest Loser was a weight loss competition show where contestants from all across the USA would compete to lose weight and win a $250,000 prize. But for many people who signed up, the prize was just a bonus. The real promise was the hope of a new life. And that was definitely true for O'Neal Hampton and his daughter, Sunshine. An ex-Army paratrooper, O'Neal was fit his entire life. Until he wasn't.
I played football, ran track in high school. I was a paratrooper in the Army. I want to be the man that I used to be.
He needs daily assistance from his wife to get his socks on.
Wouldn't it be nice to put on my own damn shoes for once? Yes, it will be.
He struggles going up the stairs, and he's sick and tired of living out his life in pain.
This is the last time you guys have seen me like this. It's the last time.
So they both get chosen to go on the show, and they are so excited. You cannot help but root for them both the moment you see them on screen.
I want a change. I need a change. We need a change.
But then episode 1 kind of throws a curveball. Before they even get on the show properly, The Biggest Loser makes the contestants compete in a bike race to win their slot on the show.
I'm looking at these bikes, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not going to be good.
The 2 teams that come in last will have to go home. But guess what? On this first challenge, O'Neal and Sunshine come in last. They both get kicked off the show before they ever even get on it. I feel like it was extremely reckless to have people in O'Neal's position jump in and do exercise like that, like literally fight for their life on the bike when they haven't worked out in however long and they're whatever age and they have whatever health conditions. Those are the kind of things about the show that make you really, that are just truly like reckless decisions that are kind of morally wrong. I honestly cannot believe that no one has ever had a heart attack. So yeah, there are definitely some very serious problems with this show. They're devastated. They're crying in the limo home. I'm freaking bawling my eyes out when the show comes in and says, stop.
I'm here to tell you that it is not over.
No.
It's not over. No, it's like not over.
Just kidding. You have 30 days at home to compete with the other people who are in the lowest spot to make it back on the show. So O'Neal and Sunshine are like, okay, we're going to lock in and we're going to win this thing.
I would not let this gift go. I would not let this gift go. You'll see us in 30 days, and we will be back on the ranch. Hallelujah.
They continue to work out at home until episode 5, when O'Neal and Sunshine are given their chance to get back on the show. They're put through their first ever workout with Jillian.
It was far more intense than I ever anticipated, far more intense than I ever done before anything. I didn't think I can do it, and I very much surprised myself. And I think I surprised Jillian too, and I really like that.
Good job, Dan.
And then have to win a weigh-in against the other disqualified team to see who will get to begin their journey on the ranch. It's looking really close. They're told they must lose 60 pounds between the both of them to win.
Yellow team, you need to have lost more than 65 pounds.
But they do it. They actually lose 76 pounds as a team in 1 month. I know, unhealthy.
O'Neal, tell me about 51 pounds in 1 month.
It wasn't no doubt of what we wanted to do when we left here. And I wasn't gonna let that bike defeat me no more.
But with that, they are back on The Biggest Loser. Now that he's on the show, O'Neal has a hard road ahead of him. At 51 and 390 pounds with a serious knee injury, O'Neal is at a major disadvantage in each challenge he faces on the show. But from moment one, it's obvious that he's going to give every single day all he's got.
And it's time for me to step up, and I'm stepping up right now tonight. I want y'all to say, damn it, if O'Neal's doing that with his knee, we can be doing more. We're definitely going to beat the Bucks. We're not losing again.
In one of the first challenges O'Neal faces, his team is supposed to push a transport truck down a highway. Now, O'Neal can't fully participate, so he just jogs alongside. And his team is very concerned that O'Neal might not be able to keep up, and that might lose the challenge for them. But that's not what happens.
My dad, out of nowhere, like, zooms past us, runs past us, and I'm like,
Come on, let's keep pace with O'Neal.
My legs were burning. I couldn't catch my breath. But Coach was right there in front of us, and he'd give me another burst of adrenaline and made me keep going.
O'Neal's drive to succeed, his hard work, and his positive attitude quickly make him a very valued member of his team. And each day, you get to watch him gain more mobility and freedom. You are literally watching a man come alive again, to the point that O'Neal sometimes ignores Bob's recommendations to take it easy. Actually, multiple times on the show he does this. After just several weeks on the show, O'Neal's mobility improves to an insane degree. He's doing things he's never done before, but his knees are still a huge issue for him, to the point that he needs assistance to get up the stairs to each weigh-in. So Bob decides to train him on the stairs. And after several sessions, O'Neal manages to walk up the stairs in front of everyone, unassisted, for the first time. It is just so damn cute, and he is beaming with pride. And after just 6 weeks on the show, O'Neal finds himself under 300 pounds for the first time in 17 years. Another part that makes O'Neal my favorite person ever on the show is that you get to watch his relationship with his daughter Sunshine, which is extremely heartwarming.
Baby? It's my girl.
I'm so proud of you, Dad. I love you.
I am so proud for my daughter to be proud of me of climbing steps. And I'll look anyone in the eye and tell them how happy I was for her to be happy for me for climbing steps.
Like, he wins this car in a challenge for her.
What? That's your car, Sunshine! It's your car!
And just together, they're making insane progress until the show has them do this challenge where they're stacking these blocks and they have to climb them and then climb up this scaffolding thing in order to win. Well, O'Neal's trying to climb even though he shouldn't be with his bad knee, and he falls off and it jams his leg and hits his head. He's sent to the hospital and comes back the next day, has an injury, and gets a 1 pound disadvantage for not completing the challenge. That very same week, he gets a call saying his brother died from cancer, and both the trainers try to help him work through it. But when weigh-in time comes, O'Neal still slays it.
Yes. Thank you. I missed you. I love you. I miss you. I love you.
However, after a few more weeks, O'Neal and Sunshine eventually fall below the yellow line together. And O'Neal asks all of his teammates to vote for him to save Sunshine so his daughter can continue.
And please respect me like I respect all you guys. Please respect me.
His entire team is devastated to say goodbye, but they all respect his wishes and vote him off instead of his daughter. O'Neal is eliminated and sent home in episode 15. So yeah, that is what watching The Biggest Loser is like. I'm not even watching these clips right now while I'm recording it, obviously, because actually anytime I watch clips of O'Neal, it brings a tear to my eye, and I don't want to do that today. But yeah, the documentary keeps being like, oh yeah, everyone's watching The Biggest Loser because people like making fun of fat people. I'm like, dude, come on. That's not what people were doing when they were watching The Biggest Loser. Like, please. O'Neal's story is my #1 favorite story on every season of Biggest Loser I've ever watched, but it's not uncommon for you to be crying while watching the show. The people, their stories, and the journey you watch them go through, that is the heart of the show, and that is what made it so good. People were tuning in not to make fun of fat people, but to be inspired. But again, I need to reiterate, as much as I genuinely love watching this show, I do still think that it shouldn't have been on TV. I think the contestants were at risk. I think lines were crossed. I think there were a lot of reckless decisions that were made. But at the same time, this show did have some serious problems. So the show is this mix of being this like really heartwarming show with this like underbelly of toxicity. But as much as there were real problems with the concept of this show, the documentary decided that no, we're not going to focus on any of that, and we're just going to go ahead and do our own thing instead. Fit for TV is a 3-episode Netflix special done interview style, where there are clips of The Biggest Loser and then clips from people from the show talking. It really promised some new bombshell information about what went on behind the scenes, but instead it was basically just this listicle from 2023 turned into a documentary. I'm serious too. The points in this documentary could have been pulled directly from this listicle. Of the 381 contestants ever featured on The Biggest Loser, only 8 were shown in the documentary, and half of them were already in this listicle. This is one of the first people shown in the documentary, season 1 winner Ryan Benson. He's been vocal about regaining his weight and his bad experience on the show. This is Danny Cahill, the next major story featured in the documentary. He won season 8 and has been in the news a few times for regaining his weight. Tracy Yukich was another major story on the documentary. Tracy's shown talking about her collapse on the very first day. And Rachel Fredrickson, she wasn't in the documentary, but she's discussed a lot because her situation was a huge reason that The Biggest Loser stopped airing on TV. The thing is, though, there were so many others who regained their weight, who collapsed on the show, got injured on the show, got yelled at on the show. I think it's fine for this documentary to purely hate on The Biggest Loser if it does a good job of it. So these guys really represented the lowest hanging fruit possible that were on page 1 of Google. Even these two sisters, Hannah and Olivia, who were there to represent the more positive experience, even they were recently featured on Jillian Michaels' podcast. And I say this all because it made me wonder, did the director or like the team who made the show, did they actually watch any of the show? Or did they actually just Google it a couple times and base their entire documentary off that? Because after watching this documentary, it really, truly, and seriously feels like they did not watch it. Now I know Aubrey Gordon didn't watch it, and we'll talk about that a lot later, but it really does annoy me. You are making a documentary. Why is one of the main expert speakers on the show someone who hasn't watched the show? As far as interviews go, you have the 2 producers of the show, David Broom and JD Roth. They are the ones who came up with the idea and built the show into what it was, and they seem to get less speaking time than Aubrey Gordon, someone who admittedly hasn't watched the show. JD Roth, by the way, was also the mastermind behind a couple other weight loss TV shows, Extreme Weight Loss and MTV's I Used to Be Fat. Also, side note, he made that Demi Lovato alien show and My Cat from Hell with Jackson Galaxy. JD Roth also authored a bunch of books on weight loss despite never having personally lost weight. Why did Netflix not spend time digging a little deeper with JD Roth?
We were not looking for people who were overweight and happy. There's a lot of them. That's fine. We were looking for people who were overweight and unhappy. We realized there were literally millions.
What an interesting character. He does this classic evil pose a few times in the documentary. He's always smirking. I just think it would have been interesting to flesh him out a little bit. This guy is supposedly responsible for all of the reality TV toxicity we see on the show. Ask him some hard-hitting questions for the love of God. But Netflix did not bother. Apparently they interviewed both of these guys for like 8+ hours, but we only see a couple of minutes of both of them in the end documentary. The use of time in this documentary was just like very odd. It was so limited and you had so few contestants, and yet they would spend time asking contestants like questions about like what they were doing before The Biggest Loser.
I was born in Midwest City, Oklahoma. I was in a band that was doing really well. Something inside me was always saying.
So there were just a lot of red flags to me that the quality of this documentary was low. And one of those for me was the amount of screen time dedicated to a contestant named Joelle Gwynn. Again, Joelle was a page 1 Google contestant. She was in the news multiple times for discussing her negative experience on The Biggest Loser. And for that reason, it makes a lot of sense to have her in the documentary. So that's not my problem. But she was featured in the first episode, the second episode, and the third episode. And this happened a lot with the contestants. Which, why do we want to hear from the same person 3 times when there are 380 other perspectives to hear from? Half of the second episode in the Netflix series is dedicated just to Joelle's experience on The Biggest Loser. And to me, it was an odd choice to have so much of your documentary dedicated just to Joelle's story. And I say this because Joelle's time on The Biggest Loser was a little bit unique, or like off, I guess. In the documentary, Joelle is shown crying a lot, working out so hard she falls down. She talks about having bruises. She says the show tries to make her look like a loser.
Are you trying to make me look like a loser?
And says that the show is all about making fun of fat people. But most notably, the documentary shows Joelle's beef with Bob. In the documentary, Bob is shown freaking out at her as she runs on the treadmill. And the whole section concludes with Joelle straight up saying that she was berated and abused.
Nope, shut the up! Just do it!
That little country bumpkin of a man berates me.
Oh yeah, and then this.
Fuck you, Bob Harper. Oh, shit. God damn. Oh, your little dog, too.
And you can clearly see in that clip, I think it's the director who is laughing with Joelle. And anyway, Joelle is clearly being used by the documentary as like the prime example of a contestant who was abused by The Biggest Loser. She's being used as the main example of The Biggest Loser's abuse. And you really leave that section feeling like the documentary did so wrong by Joelle and they were so cruel to her.
I've never seen someone get abused like that.
But here's the thing. I watched Joelle's season. She was in season 7 and I watched it like a year and a half ago. And honestly, she is a very odd choice to be your main interview because she was by far one of the most universally disliked contestants to ever go on The Biggest Loser. Let me explain what I mean, and then I want to circle back to that yelling scene. So Joelle comes onto the show with a partner, a woman named Carla Triplett.
We're gonna win this together.
They're supposedly best friends, though on the documentary we learn that that wasn't true. From week 1 on the ranch, Joelle just doesn't really get along with the other contestants.
Joelle's definitely ostracized herself. She doesn't work as hard as anybody else, and she's just kind of crazy, and everybody feels that way.
Very early on, the other contestants feel that Joelle is slacking off and doesn't seem to want to be there.
One person right now that everybody's noticing that's not giving 110% is Joelle.
The way I feel, if you're working hard and you're giving it your all, you deserve to stay here. But if you're not, you need to go.
And yes, it's reality TV, there's editing, but it's still words that people actually said and it's based on something real. And an important thing to explain is the dynamic of the show is everyone else or everyone who is there, they want to be on the show so badly. They're putting in 110% effort every single day. They're challenging themselves. They're pushing past their limits. They're doing all these things. And that's really what the show is all about. It's actually the opportunity of the show. So when one person doesn't want to be there, that person is just like complaining or slacking off or just not putting the effort in, everyone else notices it and they really don't like it.
I can do the diet. I can count the calories. It's not as hard as going into that gym every day. That is the hardest. I'm looking at everyone else and they can't breathe. They're throwing up. Go to those levels is really hard for me. That's really letting go. So right now I'm just trying to fake it till I make it.
And honestly, I'm surprised that there are more people who aren't like Joelle on the show in terms of like not being great about all the working out, but they're really not. Everyone, no matter their condition, no matter their age, they show up and push it every single day. And I'm sure not everyone likes it or feels good doing it. Like, I always wonder how they manage soreness. How do they manage blisters? Like, there has to be all of that going on, considering they're literally come onto the show and then they work out hours and hours and hours per day, every single day until it's done for like 6 months, which is of course another toxic aspect of the show. You have these people who are working out every single day with no rest in between. But regardless of the conditions, no one complains and no one slacks off. That is how seriously everyone on the show takes it. But I don't know if Joelle quite grasps that that's the vibe because she's always letting it slip that she's having a terrible time. There's one challenge where you can get sent home for a little bit.
It is the team with the highest number of calories to train alone with your trainer at home.
Did she just say you get to go home? I get to get out of here for a couple of days?
And Joelle celebrates a little bit too hard.
Joelle, You were tempted, but you chose not to eat in the end.
Yeah. 3 slices of pizza, 5 chicken nuggets, 1 taco, and 2 cupcakes.
Carla ate, and Carla ate well.
Oh!
I get to go home.
Causing everyone else to give her the side eye. Now, at some point, Bob tries to dig deep with Joelle and figure out why it is she's not fully committing to the experience. Why is it that she will quit before the end of the workout, or like sort of half-ass every workout? Because she does.
And I don't want you to think that I'm trying to quit. Exercise has been the most challenging thing for me.
It's time for you to start seeing what you are capable of. You will come out of this victorious. I believe in you. You believe in you. And there's no failure in that.
Thank you.
Now let's get up there and start running.
But these talks with Bob don't change anything. Joelle still refuses to do the same workouts as the rest of her team.
Right now, I'm just trying to fake it till I make it.
She also loses the least amount of weight most weeks because she's not working out with the same intensity.
2 pounds. 2 mother frickin' pounds. I can feel people glee.
Now, there is a ton of editing that goes into reality TV. There's a lot of villain creation, and Joelle was 100% turned into the villain on her season. But at the same time, she became the villain because she was the one person that a lot of people genuinely did not like. And actually, her own partner, the person she came to the show with, ends up wanting nothing to do with her.
I was so pissed off to find out that Joelle wasn't pulling her weight as much as she should have. It was like a slap in my face.
So when Joelle finally falls below the yellow line for losing the least amount of weight that week,
0. 0.
she gets kicked off. And when Joelle's team votes to kick her off, they not only unanimously vote her off the team, but they also write her name in like gigantic letters to really send a message to her.
Seems you made a pretty clear statement in the way that you cast your vote tonight. Why don't you tell me about it?
I made it this way because it's obvious who I'm eliminating.
And that to me says a lot, because if everyone in the room doesn't like you, usually the problem is you.
In this part of the game, it's a team effort. And I just can't stand selfishness.
It makes me so mad that Joelle can stand up there and have no passion, no accountability for anything that she's done, while Carla is the biggest woman that you guys have ever had on the show and fighting for her life. While Joelle stands there and spaces out and won't even say, Carla, I'm sorry.
There's only so much editing a show can do. Clearly, people genuinely did not like Joelle. And I cannot tell you how rare that is on the show. Villains are not overly common, and when they are, it's usually because they have this sort of like competitive cutthroat nature. Because for the most part, people really root for each other and they sort of push each other and they act as a team, even though they're usually started out on 2 completely separate teams. And when it comes time to eliminate someone, almost every single time, everyone is really, really sad that that person has to go.
Ernie, looking around this table, there are a lot of people here, including myself, who are going to miss you a lot.
No one wants to see anyone go. Everyone's always crying. But yeah, I thought it was weird that the documentary didn't include any of this context before showing clips of this scene.
We have a 30-second sprint. 6.5, Joelle, yes? Go! Do not be sloppy. Finish this strong, Joelle. No, Joelle, don't do it. Don't do it. Dig, Joelle, dig! 10. Joelle.
Everyone else is running for 30 seconds and Joelle will not do it. You can see that she's not fighting for her life. Like, she could do it. She has more in the tank. You can literally look at her and see that. But she just won't for some reason.
Every time! What is it?
I'm giving you my best.
No, you're not! You stop at 20 seconds. Every single time. What is it? Because I've got 6 other people here that want to be here that keep pushing outside of the box. What is it?
I'm pushing.
No, you're not!
This scene has probably been the most talked about one that I've seen online about the documentary. A lot of people who watch the documentary now hate Bob Harper from what I've seen. I saw a few people commenting on his Instagram, like telling him to go have another heart attack.
Fuck you, Bob Harper.
Oh, your little dog too.
But yeah, these clips and Joelle's story were used to subtly make the claim that the contestants were frequently being verbally abused by their trainers. A big point of the entire documentary is that the contestants were subject to horrible treatment and abuse by their trainers on an ongoing basis.
Here's the good news. Only 3 more hours and 47 minutes left.
You see people puking from their workouts and Jillian like gleeful about it.
They're still smiling.
You see all the yelling that goes on and like comments about dying.
Every time you want to quit, you think about your father who's about to drop dead on the treadmill. Go. Go!
And this has led to a sort of online mob thinking that these two trainers were intentionally torturing their clients. I've actually seen the word torture used way too many times at this point about the workouts on The Biggest Loser. But let's zoom in a little with the Bob and Joelle situation.
2, 1, go! 5, no! 3, 2, 1! Nope, that wasn't it.
Stop thinking of yourself, think of us.
Focus. Giving you what I got, okay?
Give me more, I need more.
And I'm doing it.
Do it.
It might not be what you want. I train as best as I can. I am my measure. And I do 6.5 and 20s are good.
Stop saying all these words. Quit talking. Shut the up. Just do it. Just stop talking and do it.
Is it nice that Bob yelled at Joelle? No, of course not. Bob was clearly genuinely angry and like losing his shit, which I think is wrong. I feel like just grown adults shouldn't just randomly yell at other grown adults. But is it abuse or is it torture? No. And did Joelle sign up for this? Yes. She signed up to be on a show about daily boot camp style strenuous workouts and didn't want to do those workouts and then got yelled at by Bob and her partner.
Slam them. Oh, that was a good one. You think about smacking my head together?
No. Maybe Joelle's a little bit. Not you. Get her back in.
I want to see more sweat. That's what I want to see. Show me.
You show yourself.
Me.
You had your week to show yourself.
Me.
You ate your McDonald's.
Let me tell you something.
Talk about that.
You showing Bob, you showing them, you ain't showed me nothing. Show me. Do it. You had all this talking, no action. Show me. I'm tired of you talking, Joelle.
I get it. No, Carla, I get it. I get it.
Because Joelle simply refused to do what she needed to do in order to stay on the show. I just don't think that this scene is as dramatic as the documentary made it out to be. And you know how I know it's not a big deal and that this documentary is reaching really hard? Because there was another early 2000s reality show that involved a lot of yelling. And rather than people canceling this person built an entire empire off that yelling.
Get out of my way. Get out of my fucking way. Get out of my fucking way. Get out of my way!
I'm not in your way!
Fuck off!
Yeah, as a society, we fucking love Gordon Ramsay because he yells. And he does not hold back, and he actually says like some pretty rude shit too.
Fuck off you fat useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?
And actually, if you think about it, Joelle's situation is an awful lot like going on Hell's Kitchen. Imagine Joelle went on Hell's Kitchen and week 1, she undercooked her meat.
The chicken is raw. Fucking raw. You're gonna kill someone.
Then Gordon Ramsay pulls her aside and the rest of the team have a talk with Joelle and say, look, we really, really need you to cook your meat to the proper temperature next time. You're holding our entire team back. But then the time comes and guess what?
The chicken's raw! It's not undercooked, it's raw!
Look, if you undercook your meat 2 weeks in a row, Gordon Ramsay is going to yell at you. And no one will feel bad for you because you signed up for Hell's Kitchen.
Raw, how can I get down on my knees? Yes, it's fucking raw. Hey, look at me! Is that better? It's raw! You fucking idiot! Raw!
And when Gordon Ramsay yells, it is a lot more savage than when Bob or Jillian tell you to stay on the treadmill.
Missy, come here, you fat-mouthed little stupid bitch.
Yes, chef.
For me, I just thought the whole yelling thing was blown way out of proportion. I couldn't believe how much people online were reacting to it. I was just like, I didn't think it was really the like gotcha moment that the documentary made it out to be. Bob and Jillian are literally just raising their voice. Like, say what you want about the show, but if I hear one more person offended because they think Bob and Jillian are literally belittling and torturing the contestants, I'm gonna lose my mind. People literally willingly pay money to go and have that style of workouts.
Focused! Give me what you got!
Like, that's a style of personal trainer that you right now in your city can probably go and sign up for and find.
Burpees!
Like, I'm not gonna sign up for a service like that. I don't have any interest in someone yelling at me, but a lot of people want and like that, particularly other contestants on The Biggest Loser.
You crave for this, you starve for this, you want this challenge of a hard workout because you know it's right. It's the right thing for you. It's the right thing to do.
Carla herself was like, yes, give me that Bob hardcore workout.
It was so wonderful to have Bob here. I mean, I miss that. And I need that push sometimes.
10 more.
And there's a quote from Aubrey in the documentary that says that Jillian is saying deeply personal insults to people on the show.
The presence that Jillian had on camera was raising her voice, usually saying deeply personal insults to folks on the show and say, you know, the only reason I'm doing this is because I believe in you so much.
Which I have never once heard her do. She yells, she says that thing about like breaking your legs or whatever. I have never heard her insult someone.
If you want to act like a victim, I'll treat you like a victim. And if you want to have some self-respect and you want to be proactive and you want to do what it takes to get it done, I will have your back. Do you get how it works? Now do 5 and make them good. 5.
So yeah, for me, yelling on a documentary about working out, I mean, I didn't think that was a big deal that the documentary tried to make it out to be. Another thing that was supposed to be a mic drop was that the contestants were given caffeine pills.
Jillian Michaels giving caffeine pills to contestants.
Maybe I just drink too much coffee, but I was like, wait, how was this actually a scandal? It was a scandal in the news when it happened, and it was a scandal in the documentary. Meanwhile, Danny Cahill is quoted as saying that they allowed him 1 caffeine pill a day. And I think maybe the more interesting thing here would have been, well, why do the contestants feel they need caffeine pills? Oh yeah, because they're on a weight loss competition show where their singular goal is to lose as much weight as possible to win.
The Biggest Loser is a competition, so it's very stressful, but our goal on The Biggest Loser was just to make it through the next day.
It's not the caffeine pills that are the problem, it's the goal. It's the fact that they're probably so tired and so run down that they ideally would be jacked up on any and everything in order to make it to the finish line. And something you know if you watch the show is that there are people on the show who are insanely competitive. Like, these people will do literally anything to win. You have people come on the show who come in and win every single challenge. Some of them are like ex-athletes and stuff, and once they get back into it, it's like they're seeing through target eyes. They are so locked in, and I can only imagine what toxic shit some people did to win. It just truly is such a toxic combination, weight loss plus competition show with money on the line. But we didn't get to hear about any of it. Like, come on. Like, one of the crazier things revealed in the documentary is that Ryan Benson from season 1 was peeing blood at the finale. But that information was shared with the New York Post in 2015. That's a 10-year-old idea. There's just nothing fresh, or like there was no digging or deep diving from this documentary. They literally took the most basic shit off of Google. Now, another thing I think the documentary completely botched was the presence of Aubrey Gordon. She's the author of What We Don't Talk About When We Talk About Fat, but I think she's most famous for her podcast called Maintenance Phase. Now, I already mentioned that she talks a lot in this documentary, yet hasn't watched the show. You know how I know? Because I listened to her 55-minute podcast on The Biggest Loser, where both her and her co-hosts say that they couldn't bring themselves to watch it.
And today we're talking about The Biggest Loser.
I'm very excited about this one, Mike. I'm like equal parts excited and like a little bit of dread, because I've looked into enough of The Biggest Loser to know what an absolute horror show it is. But I also will say, like, I come to The Biggest Loser not from having watched it regularly, but from having been someone who was like a fat person when it was on.
And this is a fucking nightmare. I couldn't bring myself to watch a whole season, but I just sort of jumped around because I wanted to get a representative sample of this show and how it changed over the years. So I would watch sort of, episode 6 from season 2 and episode 2 from season 12. And so
you guys did an hour-long podcast when neither of you watched the show? If I had that level of audacity, it would actually change my life. When the documentary brings Aubrey onto the screen, she's actually talking about how her roommate watched it in college.
The first season aired when I was in college, and my roommate at the time watched the show. And after the first season, sent herself to adult fat camp.
Not her experience with watching it, just that she knows someone who watched it and it impacted them. But anyway, my real issue with Aubrey being there is not just that she was there, or even that she didn't watch it. It's that Aubrey Gordon was the only person hired to really represent the obese perspective, yet her takes in the documentary really do not make sense. First off, Aubrey keeps talking about thinness and that the point of the show was about being thin.
I'll tell you what I think the show thinks it's about. Nothing you do in your entire life will be celebrated as much as getting thin.
But people were not going on the show just to be skinny. You think O'Neill was there to be skinny? Of course not. He was there to get his life back. He was there to be there for his daughter, and he was there to be there for his grandchildren.
I am just so thankful for having my health back and being here for my work, for my family, for my friends, for my everything.
To reduce all weight loss to the way people look is just insanely annoying. Next, the show starts talking about the Temptation Challenge, which is where the producers will literally offer the contestants prizes, big prizes, to eat junk food. Which again, I feel like this is pretty messed up of the show to do that, and I feel like it's disrespectful to the journey that they're going through and their struggles with food. Are you gonna eat the cake or not? It's, here is money to eat this cake. Here is another week on the show to eat this cake. Because it's not just like, oh, you walk into the room and there's tempting treats. It's no, they are goading you into eating the food. But this is what Aubrey has to say about the temptation-like situation.
I've been a fat person for a long time. That's not a real life scenario that I have encountered.
Like, it's called a grocery store. It's called driving past 10 fast food joints on the way to work. To say that you've never had any sort of temptation toward food in your life, it's like, okay, well then, why are you there to represent this perspective? She then follows it up with, the idea is that fat people cannot be trusted around food.
Using temptation as the language here is not accidental. The idea is that fat people cannot be trusted around food.
And it's like, yeah, but Aubrey, a lot of fat people have the experience of not being able to trust themselves around food. Like, that's not offensive. It's a feeling that people have about themselves and their situation. So the documentary brings Aubrey on to be the voice of and represent the interests of various obese people and overweight people, fat people. But Aubrey apparently can't even fathom what it's like to be a normal obese person. One of her points was that she wasn't surprised that The Biggest Loser was popular because at the time it was one of the only places for fat people to connect.
It's a very human desire to want to be seen. It's a very human desire to want to be around people who understand you. This was one of the only vehicles at the time for fat people to have a space to connect.
Fat people were not trying to connect, they were trying to not be fat. My problem is here, as a person who spent their entire life obese, Aubrey just doesn't really speak for the type of person who went on the show, or the type of person that the show really appealed to. Like, the show was such a smash hit because a lot of people could relate. There are a lot of people out there who need help, who want help, who've tried to change and failed to change and don't know what to do. They know they want to live longer, they want to be there for their loved ones, they want to move better, they want to live better, they want to have a better life. Biggest Loser, for all its faults, was a show that aired on TV that gave people hope that they could change their lives. Meanwhile, Aubrey was literally making fun of taking the stairs in front of taking the elevator on her podcast.
Take the stairs instead of the elevator.
Jesus Christ. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Like, do you seriously think that me, as a 350-pound woman, taking the stairs instead of an elevator is gonna make me thin? How long do you think that's gonna take? What?
Another reason Aubrey was there was that the documentary kept making the point that The Biggest Loser's main reason it was appealing to people was because the show was all about making fun of fat people and that people really love making fun of fat people.
The belief is, once you are fat, I'm allowed to treat you however I see fit.
And I honestly could not disagree more. Keep in mind, this is also 2004, so I don't know what our problem was as a society, but we were literal savages in the early 2000s when it came to how other people looked.
This is Are You Hot? The search for America's sexiest people.
A 34-year-old real estate developer from Chicago, Illinois, Mel Platsky.
Not.
A 29-year-old podiatrist from Chicago, Illinois, Rebecca Barrow.
Not. I'm sorry.
We were obsessed with the way other people looked and tearing them down for it. It was like a cultural pastime to rip people to shreds for the way that they looked.
5-year-old executive office manager from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Melinda Griffith.
I need to firm that body up just a little bit. I know you guys like these voluptuous packages, but I saw a little too much jiggle. Could you turn around for me, Melinda? The face is a 7.5 I deducted for the teeth, sorry, but she's got a sultry look. The body, I'm sorry, I gave her a 7.5. She needed to firm it up just a little bit. Overall sex appeal, though, a 9. She's a sexy woman.
So for The Biggest Loser just to be a show about ripping on fat people, that would be extremely par for the course at the time.
People thought that the title Biggest Loser was going to be a completely disrespectful, nasty reality television show. I wanted them to actually think that, because that would tune them in. And I wanted to surprise them and shock the shit out of them when they saw that these were actual people that we were telling inspirational stories about.
But what's actually really interesting about The Biggest Loser is that it started to do that, but then it pivoted. The producers on the show even say in the documentary, we didn't know what it was going to be when we made it. Like, is this show making fun of people or is it inspirational? What does the public want? And it's so obvious if you've watched season 1 and season 2, they were 100% making fun of fat people in those first seasons. This is the opening clip for season 1, episode 1.
I really hate my midsection. I despise my thighs.
I hate my upper torso, my gut, man boobs,
Chubby belly.
chest, my legs,
Stomach.
the chin, belly, breast.
The host at that time is a woman named Carolyn Ray, and she comes off sort of condescending to the contestants, which creates this weird vibe. I personally found the first 2 seasons super boring and super hard to watch. They were honestly so different to what The Biggest Loser actually became, because the show takes this insanely inspirational turn around season 4. The show starts to figure out what it actually is there.
America wasn't sure what to think when they heard about The Biggest Loser 4 years ago. Then they heard the stories and were moved by the transformations in ways they couldn't imagine.
All the music like turns into like hero music, and the whole point of the show is really to like tug at your heartstrings and get you really emotionally attached to the people on the screen. And as someone who edits videos, you don't use hero music when you're making fun of someone. But yeah, there was so much missing from this documentary. A lot of people got married on the show. A lot of contestants have died, not thanks to the show, just thanks to various natural causes. But I saw a lot of people online being like, there should have been some sort of like rest in peace thing there. I would have loved to hear from a few more winners, a few more runner-ups, from iconic people who were on the show. The very first female winner, Allie Vincent, even got like a spin-off show of her own at some point. I feel like she showed up in so many different seasons. It's weird that she wasn't on there. You'd also think we get like a sort of like where are they now segment, at least for like the winners. There was so much to talk about regarding obesity. There were so many questions I had about like the food, like what were they actually eating, the day-to-day, the maintenance phase. I would love to hear more about how contestants handled directly after the show. Who regained, who didn't, their struggles, the way they feel about themselves after. It really is just crazy because we've seen Netflix time and time again take a show that should be like 1 hour long episode and then make it 10 hours. And in this case, they had so much material to work with and they tried to jam it all into 3 and kind of like missed a lot of the major stuff that actually made it a thing. It really is just such a missed opportunity. It was actually truly tragic how low quality this documentary was. Sky Borgman, what a letdown, for real. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.